What do you call this kind of a trailer?
Well, this is a sea container. Usually sea containers are maxed out because they're going on a ship and being shipped overseas.
So maxed out, you mean completely full to their
Completely
max
full.
gross weight?
Yeah.
And so when you see a sea can, right away you know what?
You know it's heavy, yeah.
So we're watching here a piece of tape. This is a car carrier being flipped over that has high CFG. How does this relate to your trailer?
This is identical. This high center of gravity trailer is very identical to the container that we're recovering.
Why does it keep going? Like, I mean, I've seen you flip lots of stuff, and you just get it up in the wheels and it stops.
There's a couple of reasons. High center of gravity and the crown of the road. If you had a roadway that was like this, and that was flipped over, it would just land, and it's on an upward slope. But in this case, it's on a downward slope, so that's what's getting me nervous about this whole job.
How do you keep it from going over?
Well, I know pretty much I have to put restrainer lines in here at this point, and we have to control it coming down. Because
So a strainer line is like having somebody with their hands holding it back and slowly lowering it down?
Lowering it down to the ground. That's right. In here, I actually make a mistake, and I'm going to show you where the mistake is. You'll see that we have the restrainer lines basically on the main boom. Mm-hmm. Realistically, those restrainer lines should have been on the second stage.
Ah, right.
And because, I'll tell you what happens. We do the lift, we get it up, and I'm getting it up, and it's coming up, and I'm going, uh-oh. I'm realizing that it's going to become a problem.
Because it's unbalanced?
Well, no, I'm seeing that the load is very top heavy just by how we do the pick. Mm-hmm. And then I'm also seeing that the crown in the road is going to affect me. And I'm also, hey, this thing's right next to me. So we're working in a very confined space here, and I start to get nervous. So I tell the guys, hold it, let's put the restrainer lines on here. We have to know for sure that this isn't going to come back and hit us. The restrainer lines themselves are in the wrong spot, but they do the job anyway. I get away with it.
You sometimes get into a recovery where you're so far down the path that you're committed, you can't stop.
Yeah, you do or die, do or die. You're in there and you don't have a choice.
Was this an interesting recovery for you this year? Like, where did this fit?
This was a good recovery. I really enjoyed this job. You know, it's max weight, heavy weight. You know, it's really what a rotator's built for. This job without a rotator would probably take 2 tandems and a single axle, so possibly 3 trucks. So, you know, to have that big machine around, and a lot of times you question why you have that big payment in the big truck, you know, that's what it's there for.
Okay, let's jump ahead in this. And for me, one of the most interesting parts of this job was what you called the deadlift. What I found confusing here, though, is you have a rotator that can lift 75 tons. It says it on the boom, 75 tons.
Yeah.
But this load here was about 75,000 pounds. Mm-hmm. That's only half the capacity of your rotator.
So ratings on rotators are at 30 degrees. So the boom is at 30 degrees, lifting over the rear of the unit. Mm-hmm. And your maximum capacity at the back end, or charted or registered, you know, capability, which is on your chart, says it'll lift 75 tons with the right rigging. So when you extend that boom out, your lifting capability becomes less. It has a rated capacity, so at 36 feet out, we're going to have a 36,000 pound lift. So I've got to look at that chart. I've got to realize how far I am from the tailboard. What's the lift here? And you know what? We were within chart, but we're at the maximum of the chart. So everything better be dead on. You know, the possibility for a catastrophic failure when you're doing a heavy lift is way more. So, you know, there's a great chance that you could do some really major damage. So you don't want to have anybody in harm's way.
So you do the deadlift, and basically you lift this thing up with the boom, and you drive the trailer out. Yeah. And I remember during that scene you said, okay, we're really out here, almost like you were naked out there. Yeah. What was the risk there? Why was that such a big deal?
You know that you're committing your equipment to one of the heaviest lifts it's going to do. You know, it's not an easy deal. It's putting everything to the maximum of its capacity. So it worries you, it troubles you. You know you're at the envelope of capacity.
Any component, any one component that fails in there.
Mm-hmm. Could be anything. Somebody could be killed. So at the end of the day, you want to make sure your rigging's up to capacity, charts, you're looking at your charts, you're checking everything double. If I make a mistake, I'm the only guy I can blame.
Not to mention you got all our cameras there watching you and documenting it. Yeah. That's got to be a lot of pressure on you.
Well, I tell you, there's no, any mistake you make is recorded. So if we do and when we make a mistake, It's for everybody around the world, so it's got you on edge. You want to make sure it's pushing your envelope of, hey, I should be making sure I don't make any mistakes.
Fortunately, you never make any mistakes ever.
I don't know, Mark. You're gonna catch me one day.